evening, fellow zombies. What's going on? How's your emotional levels doing? How's your sleep study going? How's your sleep issues going, actually? We're all zombies of our own making and of our own design here, so that's why I call it zombies. Me, I'm both, so I claimed it. We're John City, Roseman, California. It is about almost 15 before midnight. It is the 2nd of June 2022. I almost quite forgot what the Sam Hill was going on. Outside of our little habitat community, there's a guy outside ripping around in certain areas late at night, around midnight, on a bike. Up the hell he knows what the hell he's doing, because certain areas you just don't have street lighting around here. The rest of it is just all dark. Let him have fun with it. Let her go out. Shout out to a gentleman who helps out with Antelope Valley's news. Apparently there had been an anniversary passed. I know how it feels, pal. And this is a shout out to you. And hand out. I know what anniversaries feel like, especially when you lose them. And I'll tell you something, I've been on too many grief pages on Facebook as it is. A lot. Oh, 1 second. I know what anniversaries feel like because I've been going through too many of them. And especially if you're young enough and you feel like you haven't been mourning or grieving hard enough, that's fine. Once the shock thing wears off, then everything else starts attacking you. Throughout my life, and I've been talking about it for the past 3 years on my own YouTube channel of telling people my own life story, what I've been going through regarding my own grief, my own problems going with my head going off, and how I'm dealing and how I'm coping. Certain life issues happen, and I have to talk about them. If you've been keeping track of news, what happened in politics today, well, there's going to be other videos coming out there too, as well. But this one is primarily about anniversaries, my friend. I'll leave the other stuff on the other channel. This is important. I'm not going to be sounding blustery about this, pal. As long as you keep busy and, try to think about it from time to time, it won't affect you that badly. The thing is, you're busy. That's the thing. You have to keep busy. It keeps us scrunched in the back of the head. What gets even worse, Matt, is when you lose more of your core family, that starts deteriorating the barriers in your head. I'm not talking about the cerebral cortex. I'm not talking about the synapses. I'm not talking about the biology. Somewhere inside of you, the barriers that you've put up to keep the pain and grief aside so you can function, they start to deteriorate. I know because mine had already deteriorated already. I lost so many family members growing up as a kid that you would think one would get used to it. You get numb to it. Doesn't work that way for me. No, because I was taught and told you had to fight function, and you had to go on like crazy, smile, let it go, and every all those nice cutesy things. The only problem is you never had time or taken time to properly review, go back, reflect, because in the process you're trying to remember your lost loved ones so you can mourn and grieve in your own way. I'm not going to say properly because properly is someone else's expectations or definitions. I'm talking about in the way that only you can do, that only you feel. And there's no comfort level on this one. It's not just you can sit back in a chair and think back. Oh, I'm just going to go back for the pain and everything else. Oh no, no, because somehow down the road there will be emotional triggers kicking in. These are triggered by the five senses of our body, by our squishy brain. And because the brain operates on the five senses, probably sixth sense if we're going to be believing in that situation there, the intuition. Once it gets the input, things start working in the head, and then you're getting primed for the blowout. Me. I raised a hand on this because it's been affecting me way too much. And it gets worse every year for me. Now, I don't know if it's going to get worse for you. So before you're busy man. But when you start losing more people down the road, it's going to tear at your levels like you've never felt before. It's going to tear at your personality, your memory, everything. Whatever you hold sacred is going to get torn apart. I'm not guaranteeing it. I'm saying what's happened to me. And I'm hoping it doesn't happen to you just yet. Because you're still functioning. You're still getting past the shock level at this point over here. I know what they said about 5 stages. I haven't even. They're not in order. The stages are not in order. I mean, they go from either 3 to 5, whatever they're saying these days. And the psychologist and the psychiatrist and the behavior therapist, I know I need to talk to those quacks for myself so I can get quote unquote better or on a track like that. But I tell you something, I've been dealing with this far too long than these assholes have. I've been dealing with it far too long. I haven't been drinking, I haven't been drugging, I haven't been smoking over the damn thing. I am overweight. For other reasons. Only because I know I've got other situations happening in my life that are taking the medical toll on me. I've also been checking out myself and going over my memories and thinking I'm getting close to what my brother and my mother used to be like. Because I have no one watching me at this point, Matt. Absolutely no one. I'm it. I've got no distant relatives that'll give a shit about me. Let me put that honestly there. Nobody. I got relatives out in San Diego that can care less about me. One lives out in Marietta, the other one lives out in El Cajon. They can really care. I've got another one out in Georgia, but at least she tries to communicate with me every so often on Facebook, so that's something. But everyone else doesn't know what the hell's going on, despite the fact I keep putting it out there left and right. Now, I remember a couple of years back, we tried to talk about this one here. Remember that suicide situation you came across, and it tore at you, and we talked about a little bit about it online regarding it. I remember that conversation, not the gist of it, but I remember that conversation we had about it. And I know it affected you a great deal. How suicide affects it a great deal, a lot of people over there, and how people could try to communicate with a lot of people, and they just miss the communications left and right. They miss the signs. They always miss the signs because we're not paying attention to them. We don't care. We have this heartless attitude at times. I really just don't care. I know from experience how they're feeling because at times I've dipped into it. Not to the actions, but to the thoughts of it. And it scares the hell out of me because I still like living, okay? I know the other person's like to live, and they appreciate having people talking to them about it and maybe getting past the damn thing, but it really, the depression level is getting to a point where they don't care about anything anymore. The pain is so great. The pressure is so great. The only way for them to to get away from it is to release themselves. No matter how many times they may have tried to talk to other people about it in different ways. My feed on YouTube, not to mention on Facebook, I try to give all indications concerning about grief and how the hell I'm doing these days. Hardly anybody takes notice, unless I'm going to be posting something in the little comments that they have. And then maybe I'll get a few responses out of them saying, oh, you poor baby, and stuff like that. We're praying for you. Well, thanks a lot for the prayers at this point over here, but where's the physical action at this point? Where's the conversation? See, that's the thing. Where's the conversation? No matter how many Roman flares I throw out there, there's no conversation about it. I can throw in as many links and pictures and memes and stuff like that. It's like, hi guys. I see you're all smiling out there, and you're so-called friends out there of mine, and you're trying to do and live life like crazy, and possibly you're expecting me to have a smiling face at this point over here, but I haven't. And where the hell have you folks been? You're out here. I'm still here. Stuck. That's mental health illness for you, my friend. That's also part of the grieving process I've discovered too many times going through the grieving pages. They talk about stuff like this. They talk about stuff that you're going to be going through left and right. Dealing with your family right now and hopefully dealing with a counselor, you got a better chance of surviving the tsunamis than I do. You're going to be asking the question. I know it's always been asked on this one. Why haven't I seen anybody? It's called trust. See, I don't trust anybody. No, I don't. And quite honestly, I trusted a doctor once. A couple of doctors. Well, one was a behavioral therapist, and the other one was just PhD. Long time ago, when I was going through my own grieving situation, my mother passed away in 2013. Now, I don't know if you ever caught the gist of that one where we talked about it, maybe or maybe not, but let me remind you. My big brother and I, if you notice the picture behind me, the t-shirt, you can stop the video, take a look at it, take a squint. The guy in the blue, big brother, 2018. Mama, 2013. I'm not dead yet. The cabinet that the flag is draped over has the ashes of both of them. Not to mention a lot of my dogs. So yeah, it's like a mortuary or crypt in this place. Depressing, sad, and unfortunately that's the way it is. I'm losing track where the hell I was going at. CRS is also kicking in. It happens when I talk about stuff, especially things that matter to me the most. When I was taking care of Mom, I was a secondary banana. My brother was the top banana of caregiving. we were doing the last several years of Ma's life. Hell, I've been with Ma ever since I was a baby. What am I talking about? Never left home. So it's kind of a tighter bond with the baby in the family. My brother is firstborn. We did our job of taking care of her because we made her a promise a long time ago. If she got into a point where she was totally infirmed, we would take care of her, regardless of whatever happens. So Dave and I did that. We were her caregivers for 24/7. During that time, I got injured on the jam and damn near got killed. Let's see how you feel about having a 50 or 60 pound piece of rubber called a tire without a rim in it fall on your face at a job. Yeah, I'm standing up, I'm looking up, and my supervisor's dropping a tire on my face. I don't even. I'm like, what the hell? It damn near killed. It just could have killed me right there. It didn't. I got a video on that one too. Suffice it to say, I know what it's like going through a near-death experience originally a long time ago, but that thing rattled my mental cage besides screwing up my back and neck. So I couldn't go back to work at all. Taking care of my mother all the time. And that's the hardest damn thing. Doing it 24/7, especially when you're seeing your mother, the parent that you loved, the parent that you lived with for all your life, passing away, and there's not a damn thing you can do about it. Not a damn thing. And I'm seeing her go away. February 1st, 2013, we called 911. Brought over to the AV hospital February 19th. She passed away. It was raining that day. Ma's favorite weather was rain. Dave and I attended a lot of AA meetings. He's recovering, so am I. Died clean and sober. 32 years he did. We had, for about a year, something to keep us busy. We went to AA meetings a lot, became staff of sorts, volunteer staffs, but something to keep us going. And then I started going to college. I figured, do this for Mom. Fix a mistake I screwed up a long time ago. And I'm coming close to graduation, another year or two. And that I can say to Ma and David, I wish to God you guys were here to see this shit. Because I'll tell you one thing, if I happen to go on stage, I'm going to be crying my eyeballs out. They're going to be dragging my ass out. Because I don't think I'll be able to take it emotionally. Things like that are the most special things that I wish Mom and Dave would be alive for. I mean, hell, if she happened to see my grades, what's going on right now as it is, she'd be like, why didn't you do this thing when you got out of high school? Because I wasn't mentally or physically prepared for college coming out of high school. I screwed up 2.5 years. Then I had to work 30 plus years. A couple of trade schools, busting my ass left and right for the family. Somewhere along down the line, my mental health was just going screwed up left and right. Seeing my mother die like that, just slowly. And I know why. I know why, Matt. She had been losing family left and right. She had about 4 siblings. And she had sister-in-laws. All she loved. And it was driving her crazy. She lost her mother in the process. Everything was adding up to it. No matter how hard she tried to fight and struggle to do her business and stay on medications left and right she got addicted to. She lost a favorite niece. She lost the last of her sister. A sister-in-law, actually. And she mentally gave up. She didn't want to get out of bed at all. She just died there. Or dying. And there was nothing David and I could do. Except try like hard to take care of her. It's the hardest damn thing. We were living in the Montecito Apartments at the time on Ellen 10th. Handicapped unit. Apparently the only one it had available. We took it. The apartment complex management, the corporate, was trying to get rid of us. They wanted the unit back. Bastards. When Ma died, Dave and I had to deal with the legal stuff and legal battles. We made into a compromise, thank God, because we hired an attorney for that one, and got a trailer home, the only place we could find available in this damn valley. Everything else got booked up and bottled up, and waiting lists about a year or two. Insane. So, we're in a trailer home over in Roseman. The upper portions of this place. Lived there about a year and a half before we got to be evicted. We had issues with management and leasing agent for screwing around with our damn contract. When you fail to pay because you're making a protest, courts don't look too kindly on that one. Dave and I were homeless. Luckily for us, he was a vet. A former vet. Long story on that one, pal. That's why I do videos. Long stories. Dave contacted the Salvation Army. We had a veterans group working with us at the time. Apparently we didn't realize there was a couple of veteran groups out in Roseman. Found us a place, made arrangements with management, roof over the head within 30 days. Well, within that time period, we're living on handouts and food from the Salvation Army and other giveaways at a motel just a few blocks away from the apartment complex. You talk about humiliation and humbleness and gratitude and everything else screwed up. In the process, my brother loses his father. Slip and fall back in Texas. Hemorrhaged. They had to pull the plug on him. The same day we get evicted out of the damn trailer home. I've been in this place for about 5 or 6 years. But most of that part was dealing with my brother and his ailments at times. So, caregiver from one person to another person. He passes away in February of 2018. I'm sorry. September 8th, 2018. It's important I keep remembering these dates. It's important. Because I also have my brother's sobriety birthday I have to keep track in my head. Not to mention my mother's birth date and her death. I have to keep track of all these damn anniversaries in my head. One of my friends actually had enough money in her account to cover the cremation of my brother. Ma's had life insurance to cover her cremation. And it was hard as hell to do, to go through the paperwork. My brother was going through the paperwork, but when it came down for my brother's cremation, I was happy enough a friend of mine just jumped in and helped me out with it. And afterwards, I hadn't seen her in a hell of a long while, but every once in a while I do. At least I'm keeping contact with her and her brother. I grew up with him since junior high. Since then, I've been living with my little dog, emotional support. The hell, she's been through a lot worse than I have. A lot worse. I know that the pain of losing a loved one is hard enough, especially when you're dealing with relatives close to you. Even we're talking about core family. And it'll hit like a tsunami. You'll get a trigger. You won't know what it is. You won't expect it. But in time, you start to recognize them. Certain key phrases, certain words said, certain memories pop up, certain actions, something that your five senses or even your memory will pull up. It starts to process inside. Because the next thing you'll know is you'll see something innocuous, something innocent, and then you're off to the races. You're pulling up a pillow and you're crying your eyeballs out and you're pleading to God you're sorry as hell. Sometimes two or three times for me a day. It leaves me wiped out. That's why I call it a tsunami because the flood of emotions hit me so hard. I'm squeezing out my lungs, damn near causing a heart attack at this point. Uh, I'm crying so much that I don't know if I got any moisture left. I'm sucking on water left and right all day long. I have to keep replenishing myself. Even we're talking well past midnight right now, my friend. I still have plenty of liquid next to me because I'll wake up every so often and drinking. And here's another thing sleep deprivation and narcolepsy. Your sleep patterns will change drastically if they haven't done so already. If you're on medication, stay on them. Tell the doctor what's going on. Keep everything apprised. I'm telling you this. I should be telling myself this, but I've had a lot of reasons not to trust the medical establishment. I've talked about it too many damn times in my videos about this. I never trusted those guys in the first place. As I said before, long stories on my YouTube channel. This is not a shameless plug. This is like you want more information about where I'm coming from. Pick a YouTube. Pick a vid that I've got on my channel. Diary of a Grieving Person. Or Diary of a Griever, actually. Originally it said mental health, but griever fits me better. Because I have grieved and I'm still grieving. I'm still mourning. It leaves me depressed throughout the days that barely I can get things taken care of in an apartment. Other days when I can lay down for about an hour or two, get my brain reset, I'll feel a little better and a little bit more controlled. My back will be killing me, my neck will be killing me, but at least I'm not in depression enough to take care of things like laundry, dishes, food, behaviors. Dude, behaviors have changed on me drastically. I'll blame partially COVID for that one, but also the grieving portion I have to change as well. Because in keeping me trapped here, what my emotions have done is just basically put me back in a bed of sorts. And it scares the hell out of me that I'll be turning like my mom. That's what scares the hell out of me. I'd seen her give up on life because she's lost a lot of people that she cared about, and so did I. There was a surrogate family that adopted us back in '76. We considered ourselves brothers and sisters up to a point. Then when they lost their parent, that was it. They split. Kind of pissed me off that they had their own lives living, but they never bothered to keep track of what was happening with me and my brother until it was too late. We needed their help on some occasions. We had their help. But after their mother died, that was it. I mean, there was no further communication. It's just silence. And to me, at that point, silence was not golden. Never was. I'm still trying to deal. You want to hear about a trigger, Matt? I got one for you. I could watch a television show, get into it, get into the characters, the storylines, everything else. I like a good story. I like writing a good story better. You get into the characterizations, you get into their heads, you get into the mindsets, you get into everything else that you can. So I'm watching the story, I'm just getting into it. And I'm seeing the interactions, and I'm seeing the plays, and automatically I'm getting set up here. That when I start seeing certain actions happen, I go for the cry. I go for the tsunami. I can see a family hugging it out. It knocks my ass out. Try this one. Super Bowl we had this year. They had a car Kia commercial. You see a robot dog chasing after this guy. Cute as a button with the eyes. I'm crying my eyeballs out. A piece of music, not our generational music. Something I'm used to on some occasions. Mandy Patinkin. Surely you've heard of and seen this guy in the movie Princess Bride. Inigo Montoya. You will kill my father, prepare to die. That guy. Back in the 90s, he was a hell of an actor, but he was a hell of a singer. A voice. Oh my God, dude, the voice. He was on a Larry King video, and I listened to what he was singing, and I remembered him back a couple of decades when he was doing this. Right now, he's old and crusty and gray like us. Worse than me in the face. I mean, he's got more gray and more trim in the thing. But man, the guy had a voice, a passion. He was on Larry King well before Larry King passed away on CNN. He was singing this medley. He was singing this medley. And another trigger. Another trigger. Tone, the pitch, the intensity. It was like it was made to be grating on me where I'm bawling my head off. I'm already tearing up right now as it is. These are my triggers, dude. Well after my family has died. Well after Ma has died and I'm still grieving for her. And now I got the other relatives coming out of the graves saying, grieve for me. I don't think I've ever been placed in this position in my life. Dude, I know what it's like to die, and I don't like the experience. Let me tell you. It's scary as hell. 4 years old, open heart surgery, correct mitral valves leaking. I had no choice. I had to go under the knife. And then I got died 3 times, and they had it recorded. I got sent back down 3 times. Apparently, God wasn't done with me yet. Apparently, he read the letter from that my brother had wrote. My brother wrote a letter to a doctor, surgeon. Surgeon gave it to Ma. Ma kept the letter. Days after Ma passed away, Dave and I are going through material that Ma left behind. We found the letter. We found the letter. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that. I had to take care of a few things. Yeah, the letter said, please don't let my brother die. An earlier version, my brother felt connection to his younger brother. I've been watching his six ever since. Trying to protect his ass, whatever the kind of crap he was going through. Some things I couldn't protect him from. But other things, how glad I was part of that. Sorry. I'm going to have to cut this short. He was my best friend. He was my best friend. I hope to get back to you on this one, Matt. I'm hoping you're doing okay. Find your own path through the grief. So before, there are pages out there. If you want to talk about them, talk about them. I'm out here too. I could use a friend. I'll tell you one thing, just don't come over just yet. I'm not ready for visitors physically in this place. You take care. And tell Apple to keep an eye on you.